Hi there, this is Tammy Plunkett, and I am going to talk to you today about gender identity and gender expression and sex categorization, because all three are very different and they are all three often confused, especially when you are raising a transgender child. I'm pretty sure we've already discussed in other videos, but I shall repeat it here just in case, that there is no correlation between gender identity and sexual orientation. Those are two different circles, and sometimes they overlap in our Venn diagram like we saw in math when we were young, but they are separate. Who we think we are when we wake up in the morning is not always correlated to who we sleep with or not when we go to bed at night. But today we are going to talk about gender identity, which is truly what transgender individuals are facing, and gender expression, which can sometimes be confused as gender identity. And this is how it comes up for us parents. So my son came out to me, he was assigned female at birth. He came out to me when he was 11. And we started the social transition, which is another video that you can watch. And when we did his social transition, cut his hair, dressed as a boy, chose male pronouns, he, him, and a male name. However, if he had decided that he wanted to wear a pink shirt to school one day, or makeup, or a dress, that does not mean that he is not identifying as male. And that can be confusing for us parents sometimes, because one of the rules of deciding if our child is truly trans is consistent, persistent, insistent. Well, if they are dressed, if he comes out as a boy and he's wearing a dress all of a sudden, that can be confusing for us as parents if we believe that gender expression is the same as gender identity. So let me unpack them. Sex categorization is what we do when our child is born and the midwife, the doctor, a relative, somebody looks between the legs and says, it's a boy, it's a girl. Sometimes we have those moments with an ultrasound, but it's usually generally confirmed at birth, and it is confirmed by looking at some genitalia. There are some individuals who are born intersex, and their genitalia may not be as clear as other children. And that is a whole nother letter on the LGBTQ2IA acronym. And that deserves its own video. But for what you and I mainly know is that when we have children, we are given this little baby wrapped up in a pink or a blue blanket, and we are told they are a boy or a girl. And then they grow up. And so gender identity is formed as early as 2 and 3 years old. That is how old a child is when they know and they see and they understand that in the world, there are both male and female presenting individuals. And they can decipher that by beards and the tone of voice. Not always exactly how people dress, because we're going to get into that a little later, but they can tell that there's a difference between mom and dad. And it's more than just, which one has the long hair, but long hair has something to do with it. So our little babies at 2 and 3 years old are starting to make that difference. As they get older, that difference between men and women, the binary of life, is shown more and more, and they see it and they get it and they get it and they get it. Now, if they are cisgender, which means that they identify with the gender that they were assigned at birth, they continue to emulate the gender with which that they identify and with which that they understand they are. So when I was born, my mom's doctor looked between my legs and said I was a girl. At 2 or 3 years old, I identified what it means to be a girl by looking at other girls and other boys. I identified with being a girl. It aligned with who I am. I was completely comfortable with that. So I emulated the social construct of what it is to be a girl. I would wear dresses, I would play with dolls, I'd pretend that I was the teacher at the front of the class, I'd pretend that I was pregnant when my mom was pregnant. These were all things that aligned with my gender. If I were transgender, however, as my son is, it did not align. So when my son had to do all of the things that girls have to do in order to fit into the binary of the world, he was not comfortable. He did not identify with being a girl. He was much more comfortable playing with the boys, making the, I always laugh because I can remember the machine gun sound that you make when you're, I can't do it. He did it better than all the other boys and girls. Like, he was phenomenal at being a boy, even though he was parading around as a girl because we didn't know yet that he was transgender. And so he was way more comfortable putting off the expression of a boy and identifying as a boy. So then he disclosed that he was transgender, and that's when we made all of those social transition changes. Now, gender expression is how we feel like dressing up. So I'm wearing frills today. I'm wearing pink. I put lipstick and makeup on, mainly because I was going on a video, not because I wear it every single day. But these are things that I do to express my femininity. If I'm going out somewhere fancy, I like to wear a dress. If I'm just going to walk the dog, I don't wear a dress. I just dress to my comfort. But there are some people who like to express themselves a little more outside of the binary, and that is fine. I mean, if we think of the stars that are, you know, and when I mean stars, not the ones in the sky, the Hollywood elite, if you will. If you think of Ellen DeGeneres doesn't wear dresses regularly. If she does, she's not doing it on television. A lot of what she wears is a masculine presentation in terms of the clothes that she chooses, or a non-binary presentation even. Then there are some men, Jonathan Van Ness, although I believe that he is identifying as non-binary now, so I should say them, but I'm not 100% sure, can have a beard and wear a dress and long hair and talk with a lighter tone in their voice. So that's gender expression. Drag is the extreme of gender expression. And when I say extreme, I mean extreme. If you look at a drag queen, their eyebrows are huge, their hair is huge, the breasts are huge, the bum is huge. They add all of this padding to themselves. The makeup is to the nth degree. That is gender expression, and that is the extreme of gender expression is when you're a drag queen. If your child is transgender, so let's say they're a transgender boy and they want to wear a dress, that does not mean that they don't identify as a boy. It means that they may be choosing to express themselves with that femininity of the dress for that instance. However, if your child is having distress about the pronouns that you're using, that sort of thing, that's when you need to listen to your child. But I don't want any parent jumping on my son wants to wear makeup, or my daughter wants to wear construction boots and flannel shirts, and that must mean that they are second guessing their transition. It does not necessarily mean that they are second guessing their transition. It just means that they are exploring their gender expression. I hope this helps. And if you need anything at all, please send me an email. You can find me at tammyplunkett.com. And also, please subscribe so that you can see the next videos as they come. I'd love to know your questions. So if there's a video that you'd like me to make on any specific topic, that has to do with raising a transgender child, please send me your questions and leave a comment. Talk to you soon. Bye.